Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that most women don't realize. Guys ask certain questions just to hit on you. And I don't mean being clever or sneaky. Sometimes they're downright obvious. But here's the thing, women, you miss it. You think it's just small talk. But fellas, we all know what's really going on. Humor and timing are everything when you're speaking to an audience, especially in a style like Steve Harvey's. The way you deliver a line can make it hilarious or completely flat. You can have the funniest joke in the world, but if you rush it or don't pause at the right moment, it falls flat. Timing is that invisible rhythm that makes people lean in, wait, and then laugh at exactly the right second. For example, when you say something like, "Use fishing, folks," the audience needs a brief pause after fishing to catch the idea and picture the scenario in their minds. That pause is where the humor lands. Without it, it just becomes a statement, not a punchline. And humor isn't just about saying something funny. It's about exaggeration, tone, and the way you react to your own words. If you tell a story about a guy asking, "Do you come here often?" and you act shocked or give an exaggerated expression, the audience immediately understands that you're not being serious. They laugh because they can see themselves or someone they know in that exact situation. You're not just narrating, you're performing. Also, humor is about timing and response to the audience. Watch their reactions. If they chuckle early, let it breathe. Don't cut into the moment. If they're quiet, maybe add a little exaggeration, a pause, or a follow-up line to guide them toward the laugh. The interplay between what you say and how the audience reacts is like a dance. You lead, they follow, and the timing keeps the rhythm. The right pause, the right inflection, and the right facial expression all turn ordinary words into something unforgettable. In short, humor isn't just what you say, it's how you deliver it. When you deliver it, and how you let it land in the moment. Exaggerating expressions is one of the most powerful tools a speaker can use, especially when you want to capture attention and make your points memorable. People don't just listen with their ears, they watch with their eyes. When you tell a story, describe a situation, or deliver a punchline, your facial expressions, gestures, and body language convey as much meaning as your words. For example, when talking about a guy asking, "Do you come here often?" you can widen your eyes, tilt your head, and even pretend to squint suspiciously. That visual exaggeration immediately signals to the audience, "This is ridiculous, and I want you to laugh with me." It's the same way Steve Harvey reacts on stage. His expressions are so pronounced that the audience can feel the emotion he's portraying before he even says a word. Exaggeration also adds clarity. Some jokes or points rely on subtle cues, and without expressive delivery, the audience might miss them entirely. A slight smirk, a raised eyebrow, or a playful shake of the head can turn a line from ordinary to hilarious. Physical exaggeration works hand in hand with vocal delivery too. The more animated your body, the more room your voice has to play. Lean forward when you're building suspense. Throw your hands up when expressing shock, and mimic gestures or movements of the characters in your story. It makes the scenario come alive, and people don't just hear your words, they see the story unfold in front of them. Additionally, exaggeration creates relatability. The audience immediately connects because they recognize the emotions and reactions, often laughing because they see themselves or someone they know in that exaggerated scenario. It also allows for comedic timing to shine, as every pause or reaction feels intentional and dramatic. In essence, exaggerating expressions isn't about overacting, It's about amplifying reality just enough to make it entertaining, memorable, and fully engaging for anyone watching. Engaging the audience is one of the most important skills a speaker can have because it transforms a monologue into a conversation, even if the audience is actually speaking back. When you engage people, you pull them into the story, make them feel involved, and keep their attention focused on you. One of the simplest ways to do this is by asking rhetorical questions. Questions like, ladies, you've been there, haven't you? Or, how many of you have had a guy ask a question that clearly meant something else? Make people think and nod along. Even if they don't answer out loud, their mental participation creates energy in the room. They feel seen and included, and that energy feeds back to you as the speaker. Engagement also comes from reading the audience and responding to their reactions. If the crowd laughs, pause and let them enjoy it. If they seem confused, you might exaggerate your expression or add a little clarification to bring them back into the story. It's a dynamic exchange, almost like a dance, where you adjust your pace and tone based on their energy. Using eye contact is another critical element. When you look directly at someone while telling a story, it creates a personal connection, making them feel like you're speaking to them specifically, even in a large room. Stories, humor, and relatable examples are essential tools to keep people engaged. The more the audience can see themselves in what you're saying, the more invested they become. Even small gestures, like leaning forward when building suspense or using your hands to illustrate a point, draw attention and reinforce what you're saying. Engagement is about interaction, connection, and energy. It's about creating a space where the audience isn't just listening, but experiencing the speech with you, reacting in real time, and becoming part of the story itself. Varying your voice is one of the most effective ways to keep an audience hooked because people respond not just to what you say, but to how you say it. A monotonous voice will make even the most interesting story feel dull, while a dynamic voice can turn a simple anecdote into a captivating performance. Think about it. Steve Harvey doesn't just tell a story, he uses his voice like an instrument. He rises, falls, pauses, speeds up, slows down, and emphasizes words in ways that grab attention. For example, when a guy asks, "Are you single?" you can say it with a playful, exaggerated curiosity, stretching the words just enough to make the audience imagine the awkwardness or humor of the moment. That rise and fall of tone adds life to the line and helps the audience feel the emotion behind it. Pacing is also a key part of voice variation. Slowing down during suspenseful moments builds anticipation, while speeding up during funny or exciting parts creates energy and laughter. Pausing strategically gives the audience time to react and absorb what you've said, making punchlines land perfectly. The same sentence can mean something entirely different depending on how you deliver it. Even subtle changes, like whispering part of a story to draw people in or raising your voice slightly for emphasis, can dramatically impact engagement. Tone, pitch, volume, and rhythm work together to create an auditory experience that mirrors the story. When you vary your voice, you're not just speaking, you're performing, painting the picture with sound. It also helps in keeping the audience emotionally connected, guiding them to feel curiosity, amusement, or surprise exactly when you intend. A voice that moves, changes, and surprises keeps people on the edge of their seats and makes your speech memorable long after the words are said. Body language is one of the most powerful tools a speaker has, and it often speaks louder than the words themselves. People naturally what they see more than what they hear, So using gestures, posture, and movement can dramatically enhance your message. When you're telling a story, leaning slightly forward can show excitement or anticipation, while leaning back can signal disbelief or surprise. Steve Harvey is a master at this. He doesn't just say a line, he moves, reacts, and uses his whole body to emphasize the story. Even small gestures, like a shrug, a hand wave, or a dramatic facial expression, can make a point more relatable and entertaining. Gestures also help to illustrate what you're saying. If you're describing someone being shocked, spreading your hands wide or throwing them up in disbelief allows the audience to see the emotion. If a guy is asking a question to flirt, mimicking the gesture of the guy leaning in or pointing playfully can add humor and clarity. Movement across the stage or space keeps the audience engaged, preventing their attention from wandering. It's not just about pacing for the sake of it. Each step or motion should reinforce your words, guide their focus, and make the story more vivid. Facial expressions are equally important. Audiences react to smiles, frowns, raised eyebrows, and exaggerated expressions because they create an immediate emotional connection. They understand the mood of the story without a single word being said. Open body language, like uncrossed arms, upright posture, and facing the audience, signals confidence and invites connection, while closed or stiff posture can create distance. Using body language effectively transforms a speech from a simple recitation into a performance. It makes the audience feel included, entertained, and emotionally engaged, turning ordinary words into a memorable experience they can visualize and feel long after you've finished speaking. Ending with a strong closing line is one of the most important aspects of any speech because it's the moment that stays in the audience's memory long after they leave. You can have the most engaging stories, the funniest jokes, and the most expressive gestures, but if your ending doesn't land, much of the impact can be lost. A strong closing line gives your speech a sense of purpose and finality, leaving the audience with a clear takeaway, a thought to ponder, or a feeling of inspiration. It's your last opportunity to make them feel something, whether it's laughter, reflection, or motivation, and to tie all your points together in a way that feels intentional and satisfying. The key to crafting a powerful closing line is simplicity and clarity. Don't overcomplicate it with too many words or ideas. The most memorable lines are often short, punchy, and easy to repeat. Think of a line that captures the essence of your speech. For example, after talking about how guys ask questions, just to hit on women, you might say something like, so next time someone asks you a simple question, just remember, he might be trying to win your heart, one question at a time. That line is simple, humorous, and ties back to the main theme, leaving the audience with a clear connection to everything you've discussed. Delivery is just as important as the words themselves. A strong closing line should be delivered with confidence, perfect timing, and the right tone. Pausing just before the line can build anticipation, and emphasizing key words ensures the audience fully absorbs your message. Eye contact, facial expressions, and a slight smile or gesture can amplify the effect, making the audience feel the conclusion is personal and intentional. A strong closing line also gives the audience something to carry with them beyond the speech. It should resonate emotionally, spark a laugh, or provoke thought. Whether it's a memorable phrase, a call to action, or a witty remark, it's the lasting impression that makes your speech unforgettable. The stronger the ending, the more the audience remembers, not just the jokes or stories, but the energy, personality, and message you delivered. Mastering the closing line turns a good speech into an extraordinary one, leaving everyone applauding, smiling, and thinking about what you said long after the lights go down.